All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Hawashai, Ba'ashem Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Stone. Shalom to the elect which in his word in truth and in sincerity. With the hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Hawashai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahawashi is the name of his only begotten Son. The so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the charagma written about in Revelation 13 verse 16 and down, which is the MOTB. The miracle drug is a precursor to the MOTB. Yahawashi, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment as it is written. So I want to just go straight into this lesson dealing with the MOTB and the form of how it's coming, because you have a false notion out there, with a lot of confusing doctrine saying particular things is the MOTB, which if you read the scriptures, what them say don't make no sense, because with the device, and if you look at the word device, you go back to electric. Let me not butcher it. I'm gonna look it up for you. But it's basically an electronic device used for a particular aim. And when I go down to the second meaning, tell you a trick or a plan for a particular aim. And you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are being led to the system being implemented right around the world. And due to your ignorance, you're going to follow your leaders and believe in the narrative being pushed. So, this is Ezekiel 33 verse 33. And when this come to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. So I have some clips, some more you observe before me even going to certain things. So this is the first clip. So the title of it is "We're Entering a Major Crisis. CBDCs coming in 2023. So, wouldn't believe these things are about to come to pass. And have a wake-up call here. And a lot of people doubt what we are saying, but as the scripture said, when this come to pass, then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. And when you see these shipping stations being put up around the world, for the scripture say he caused it all, then shall they know. So let's listen to this clip.
With massive layoffs in nearly every sector, weakness in manufacturing, car sales and housing, and the biggest one-month decline in the trade deficit since the financial crisis, the economic picture is not looking good, which might explain why so many billionaires are loading up on gold, including hedge fund manager John Paulson and real estate mogul Sam Zell. Bottom line, now is the time to own gold, which is why the experts at Stansberry Research just stepped forward with a major gold prediction, arguing gold could soar as high as $3,000 by the end of the year, possibly even higher. You can find out why and get instant access to their #1 gold investment today. It's not bullion, an ETF, or a mining stock, but in the past, this gold strategy could have made you nearly 50x your money. Considering how quickly the price of gold has been moving in recent weeks, you don't want to waste any time missing out on the gains these experts believe are in store for this gold stock. To get a copy of his new free report with all the details, simply on central bank digital currencies. And the New York Fed, by the way, announced in November that they would launch a 12-week pilot project in collaboration with commercial banks for a central bank digital currency, kind of a news item that was under the radar there. So to your point and to these points, can you give us, your thesis here on why you think they're coming faster than we think?
Well, the problem comes back to central banks themselves. It seems that most people think that they're part of the cosmic firmament, but they're a fairly recent innovation. For most countries, they've only been around 100 years, and they're a complete disaster from the point of view of the common man. These idiots are responsible for printing gigantic amounts of currency units, which is to say, they're responsible for retail price rises, huge distortions in the economy, and over the last 20 years, things have really gotten out of control. This is a long-term trend. It started 100 years ago, but over the last 20 years, it's gotten completely out of control, where they've gone to ZIRP, zero interest rate policy. I thought it was metaphysically impossible for interest rates to go below zero, but they did for a significant period of time. But now interest rates are going to be heading up regardless of what they say or do for reasons we could talk about. They've gone to massive quantitative easing, printing up trillions of currency units. This is to maintain the house of cards that we've built up over decades and decades. And getting back to your actual question about central bank digital currencies, this is like the final arrow in their quiver, where not only when we have paper money, which is at least private and discreet, everything is going to go through your computer. Everything is going to be monitored. They'll be in a position to credit and debit your account, especially whether or not you're a good little lamb. The Canadian truckers last year had a taste of this, where the government basically reached into their bank accounts because it didn't like what they were doing. So if the public sheepishly accepts central bank digital currencies, we'll all be relegated. We'll be one step further towards being serfs, which we're on the way to doing right now. I know that doesn't resonate with a lot of people when I say that.
Would be, yeah.
Well, because we have a high standard of living still. I mean, we drive.
All right, so as I hear him use the example of what took place over there in Canada concerning truckers when they protest certain things, this is going to be on a global scale. And that's one of the reasons why the global elites, these rulers of the central banks around the world, that's why they are collapsing the economy to bring in the CBDC. So I got another clip to show you.
This is Richard Werner, the top academic scholar in the world on central banking. He wrote the book and did the documentary, The Princes of the Yen, about the Japanese central bank. Here he is in Malmo, Sweden, in May.
The nature of this CBDC, what is it actually going to look like? They never talk about that.
Right.
But I heard one European central banker tell me what it's going to look like. He saw it, and it was around this large and would be implanted under your skin.
The company Walletmore says the $300 chip is the size of a grain of rice. You'd most likely have it implanted in your hand, and once it's activated, you can use it at a checkout by just swiping your hand over the card reader.
CBDC. If that happens, we're done.
They started their CBDC. Maybe we should start having the conversation of, gosh, this looks like the mark of the beast.
COVID it accelerates the process of digitalization and automatization. It legitimizes the deployment of mass surveillance even in democratic countries, and it makes surveillance go under your skin.
If you have undesirable political views, you might not be able to access your money, since traditional cash would be outlawed and your digital cash would be in a government-approved digital wallet.
You surprised? Surprised, Eddie? If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
That's just a clip of what's to come. So I want to dive into the scriptures to give you some understanding of this. So this is Revelation 13 verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And now if I understand the image, if I understand what's the beast, because this represents the system being implemented around the world. And the beast represent NATO, which NATO NATO is the EU, America, Canada. So this is the system being implemented around the world right now. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So I got us to look up this word mark just for edification purposes. Isn't it? Go back to the Greek word charagma, which is a stamp or an imprint mark. Two meanings: a thing carved, sculptured, graven work. So just to think about carving, you have to carve something, you have to cut the surface of it. When you think about sculpture, you ever see a man I use a chisel before? Alright. We'll go to the root word of charagma, which is the Greek word charax, which means a pale or a stake or a palisade. This is something in the ancient time they would have used for sticking at the ground to make even a fence or a wall, And this palisade represents the syringe that is going to use to peel, to cut the skin. So just to give you a visual on the pale, alright, so this is a body hackers implant RFID chip to customize. So when I look on this device right now, you can see even the local chip below it. This look like a tool we use to pierce the skin to implant the RFID microchip. And people believe that what we're saying is just because we have mouth, pound face, and we like to talk. This is what's coming. Regardless if you believe us, yes or no. When you look up that word, the root word for charax, you go back to the Greek word grapho. And to write with reference to the form of letters. When I go down to, I want to say, number 2, B meaning this to commit to writing things not to be forgotten. Write down, record, talking about what? Your informations, Whether you want to be a medical information, your banking information, talking about your financial information, all these can be recorded and tracked. And these are the times that we're in now. So this was edifying that I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Yahweh Kodash.